In the 16th century, the poet Goswami Tulsidas faced strenuous opposition for a single creative choice. He translated the Ramayana into Awadhi, the common tongue of the people, challenging a centuries-old monopoly on the text. At the time, the epic was preserved in Sanskrit manuscripts like this one. This specialized language effectively restricted the story's ethical and philosophical insights to a small circle of scholars and priests. Tulsidas's work triggered a wave of vernacular adaptations. From Tamil and Telugu to Bengali and Marathi, the narrative moved out of the temples and into the homes of the general population on a broad scale. This linguistic shift moved the Ramayana beyond its role as a religious scripture. It became an accessible document of human experience, detailing duty, loss, and the navigation of social boundaries. Once the language barrier fell, the epic crossed geographic ones too. Today, it is performed as a staple of Russian theater and serves as a core subject in Indonesian folk art and national identity. Jawaharlal Nehru noted that India's cultural footprint didn't expand through military force. Instead, it was carried by these epics, messengers of peace that occupied the hearts of distant populations rather than their lands. The Ramayana survived not through enforcement, but through this democratization. By speaking in the local tongue, it addressed the universal struggles of the human condition directly. Understanding why this story travels so effectively requires looking at the specific mechanics inside the narrative that operate across cultures. The text functions as a pedagogical framework. It is less a collection of myths and more a syllabus for the construction of character. To see why it resonates, we have to examine the ancient educational system the text uses to forge its protagonists. Character development in the epic centers on the Gurukul, the ancient residential schooling system where princes and commoners were educated together. Upon entering the Gurukul, royal students were stripped of their luxuries. They slept on the ground, walked barefoot, and lived under a code of total physical austerity. The system enforced social equality through service. Heirs to vast kingdoms were required to beg for their daily alms, standing in the same lines as their poorest peers to eliminate the ego of status. This deliberate deprivation was a strategy to build resilience. By removing comfort early, the system prepared the mind for the inevitable hardships of adult life, such as loss of power or exile. This contrasts with modern environments that often insulate individuals from discomfort, potentially leaving them ill-equipped for ethical crises. The Gurukul functioned as an exercise in ego reduction. It created a psychological foundation designed to withstand the temptations of power and the stresses of duty. We see the manifestation of this training in how the protagonist, Rama, interacts with the world as an adult. His martial philosophy is defined by protection rather than conquest. He uses force strictly to defend those who cannot defend themselves, such as the hermits threatened by the demoness Tadka. He also displays compassion where society demands condemnation. He rehabilitates Ahilya, a woman discarded by her community, treating her with a dignity that others had denied her. The text redefines leadership through these actions. It suggests that true strength is measured by a person's restraint and their commitment to service, not their ability to dominate others. These ancient archetypes translate directly into the modern household, providing a lens through which to view contemporary life. The Gurukul's focus on stripped privilege mirrors parenting strategies that prioritize resilience and empathy over unearned entitlement in younger generations. Even the antagonist, Ravana, remains a relevant archetype. He represents the unchecked ego and systemic corruption that individuals encounter in modern bureaucracy and social hierarchies. Opposing these forces requires the specific psychological tools highlighted in the epic: discipline, sacrifice, and a commitment to truth over personal gain. The mythic battles of the Ramayana are scaled-up versions of the ethical choices people make every day at work and in their communities. This legacy remains active through cultural practices like shadow puppetry. Here, artisans use these stories to engage modern audiences in a dialogue about morality. The epic is ultimately preserved internally. Its lessons are refreshed every time a modern individual chooses compassion or duty over self-interest during a personal crisis. By applying these empathy-driven frameworks to modern problems, we continue to participate in humanity's oldest and most universal syllabus.